This conference will now be recorded.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Schwartzbein, your Rio Grande Council of Governments President, Chairman of Sister Cities International, as well as the Mayor Pro Tem, the City of El Paso, and the proud District 1 City Representative for El Paso, Texas as well. Very excited and happy to be presiding over this meeting, as well as your President of the Rio Grande Council of Governments for this past year. And I first would like to start off with a Pledge of Allegiance, and I was wondering if Representative Rivera would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to start off now with an invocation, a little bit more about a meditation about the blessings and the fortune that we have here. Over this past year, and even up until this very day, we have seen challenges across this world, whether it is new conflicts, whether it's old conflicts, whether it's people trying and through their lives to improve themselves. We right now are witnessing at the epicenter of a migrant situation here in our community, no more than 3 blocks away from where we are now. And that should remind us of the fortune that we have here to be in this country, to have the democracy and the opportunities that are given to us in this country, and to never take them for granted. Um, and I feel we all should feel the unique responsibility and duty to honor the Constitution, to honor our elders, and to work hard each and every day to make this world a better place than where we left it. Amen. Okay. Right now, we can all sit down and enjoy lunch. Then Net was going to give us some updates from this FY22 year, and then we will go and start after that with the determination of the quorum as well as the rest of our meeting. Thank you again for being here.
All right. Well, as you can tell, I'm vertically challenged, so hopefully you can hear me and I won't be jumping to the screen. So, thank you again, everyone, for being here today with us today. This does mark a special moment for us at the Rio Grande Council of Governments. This is our annual meeting where we conduct our business to prepare us for the next fiscal year, but also we use this as an opportunity to inform all of our general members what the Council of Governments does. Because as I was saying earlier to some folks here, oftentimes people may think the Council of Governments is a secret society. We're somewhat of a conundrum. It's hard to explain what it is that we do and why it's important that we're here for you. But when we have an opportunity to talk to you about some of the accomplishments that we've made over the year, I think it gives you all a better perspective in terms of how it is that we work for you and how it is that we can work together. And so before I do that, I would like to recognize a few individuals who are here with us today. We do have Rodrigo Estrada, District Director for Tony Gonzalez, Congressman, 23rd District. Rodrigo, you were quick right there. Everyone get to know him. There's a lot that he will do for your communities, specifically within our rural areas. And then also we do have Lisette Ruiz uh, Bo Boda. Yes, she just got married. Thank you. And as well as Emily Loya, who's also the district director for Congresswoman Veronica Escobar with the 16th district. So thank you so much for being here, ladies. So we'll go ahead and get started to talk about fiscal year 22. We have been busy since the pandemic. I don't think we've had a chance um, to breathe at times because there's just one challenge coming after another. But we see these challenges as opportunities because we've been able to really maximize on our partnership efforts. And so that's what we're going to talk to you about today. So I'm going to have Rebecca show a quick video of the organization so you'll know some of the programs that we operate to give you a better perspective on who we are. And I apologize for the sound. It's very low, but it's just music. So um, we won't be missing much. But we have our aging services that we offer within our 6 county region. Also, emergency communications, and that's exclusively in our 5 county region outside of El Paso. We have the Regional Law Enforcement Training Academy that we contract out with the El Paso Sheriff's Office. Criminal justice is a very big program for us where we serve as facilitators in ranking and scoring applications, then go to the governor's office for a variety of programs. Solid waste, this is a very big program for a lot of our communities. Even though the funding is small, the efforts are great with regard to the projects that you all do. DRC, dispute resolution, this is what is offered by, we do this on behalf of El Paso County, and emergency preparedness as well. And with emergency preparedness, this is where we are um, also ranking and scoring applications specifically for that function. Thank you, Rebecca, for slowing it for me. And last but not least is economic development, which has been really big this fiscal year. So we're really proud of those efforts. And we'll have this video online on our YouTube channel so you all can see at some point at your leisure. So if we go back to the highlights, uh, this year we continue to do a hybrid approach for our meetings in terms of what administration managed on behalf of our board of directors. And so luckily we were fortunate enough to be able to go off site, and we did that in July. And so I just wanted to highlight a few of these pictures that were taken by our photographer, Representative Schwartzbein. We were able to actually, for the first time for many of us, we toured the Judd Foundation as well as the Chinati Foundation. And so Marfa has so many gems, and these are two of them as well. And so I would encourage anyone to go and take a look at these great art facilities. And then also, if we can go back, we also under finance just wanted to report this because it's such a great task, and you all are aware of this, how difficult it is to have an audit conducted, and that for it to be a clean audit, as we call it. So GRP issued an unqualified audit for the Rio Grande Council of Governments for FY21. So we're really proud of those efforts as well. On the next slide, what you can see here is economic development. So we're very busy this year with economic development. You all have the comprehensive economic development strategy document on your table, and we would not have been as fortunate to produce such a great project if it were not for the work of our contractor Omar Martinez, who is here with us today. He's done a tremendous job. He's a jack of all trades. So if you need to talk to somebody about water, flooding, economic development, the list goes on. So just reach out to Omar and he can assist you. So we had this document prepared. Entities used this information when they were preparing their applications for the additional fundings that were available through the American Rescue Plan. And so as a result of those ARPA monies, we were able to, we assisted or participated in two grants that are worth noting. In the middle here, you'll see that EDA has just now, this past week, they awarded a $1.7 million grant to the town of Van Horn. Van Horn is critical for Blue Origin in terms of their continuing expansion and the community development needs that they have for their employees, and as well as other businesses that are occurring within that community. They are in desperate need of water upgrades, and so this is going to be a tremendous job to ensure that we also have plentiful water for our residents as well as our businesses. At the bottom here, this is a brand new opportunity for the El Paso County Water Improvement District number 4. And it's a tourism grant that they also received from the Economic Development Administration for $900,000. They are going to construct a memorial at the Veterans Park. And so this will be really great because I always say with unincorporated communities, your water district, your school district, they're your de facto government for those residents. And so this is going to be a great anchor for the community once that's constructed. And finally, on the right-hand side, the Council of Governments, yes, on your right-hand side, the Council of Governments has been so fortunate to be a member of to be considered a coalition member to the University of Texas El Paso Aerospace Center Build Back Better Challenge grant. And so if you all are, I'm sure you're aware by now, they did receive funding for that challenge, and they're slated to receive $40 million. In the application, there were funds for a workforce center in Van Horn as well as Alpine. We did not receive the monies for those functions, but UTEP is committed to finding additional funding for those initiatives because they do see the necessity to keep our regional approach for aerospace and advanced manufacturing. So the Council of Governments will be serving in that capacity. So we just want you all to know that. So we're very excited about what's to come with the Aerospace Center. Next slide. And then also for local governments, which I didn't mention, this is the division that it's under, community development. We just recently assisted Presidio County. We're hopefully at the tail end of this. We're going to be serving as a grant administrator on behalf of the county. They're serving as an anchor county to over 22 counties in far west Texas, which have colonias. There has not been a real robust approach to colonias in terms of planning needs assessments since 2014. So the approach that TDA is looking at is doing breaking them up into regions. And so we'll be working on that in fiscal year 23, but we were able to get that accomplished in terms of the funding, locking it down for 22. Also, under the Upper Rio Grande Flood Planning Group, this is a new initiative that we are undertaking, and it's huge. We were the second most meetings occurred in our region, which were plentiful. Our consultant is AECOM. Our region, there's not a map here, but we carry over 23 counties, and so it's a large area. But flooding has become much more predominant in recent years, and so it's very necessary for us to go through this engagement and identify potential projects because we know that it's not going away, and so we need to be better prepared for that. So on the next slide, this is for 911. We're going to show a video, but we're just not going to have the sound. And so I'll just talk about it just briefly. So we're just going to show a few of the highlights from the video because they really did a great job, and I'm sorry that we won't be able to have the audio to accompany that. But the Rio Grande Council of Governments, in collaboration with Carbine, in February of this year, launched the first industry cloud native i3 911 call management system. So this was also on the same day as the 45th anniversary of 911. So history was made at that time where the Rio Grande Council of Governments was the first public entity to deploy this type of technology for the public safety and answering points. The 911 call management solution, which is known as APEX, it provides 911 call management. It provides live video as well as images from the caller while enabling silent instant messaging, text to 911, data aggregation, and transcription. And so this is allowing the telecommunicators to respond quickly and continue their operations during any crisis. The other thing that has been, I think, a game changer for our 911 program is that we have experienced over the years fiber cuts and not any way that we could control that. And so when there was a fiber cut, 911 was not working. And so people were having to call the administration line. And so there was a lot of, it could be chaotic. And so with this new technology, that has alleviated that concern to a great extent. Also, the flexibility that they have now, if one PSAP is down, it can be transferred over to another one. That's very seamless. And then also knowing that we've been in a pandemic, if there was a necessity for the telecommunicators to work remotely, this can be done. And this is all because we all want, everyone has an expectation for public safety. It should be there. It shouldn't be just only available in our urban communities. And so the rural communities are now experiencing this kind of technology that I think is perhaps in some instances far superior to other urbans. So hats off to Regional Services with Marisa Quintanilla, who's our Regional Services Director for this initiative. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next program under Regional Services. Thank you, Rebecca. So this one here is emergency preparedness. We have an emergency preparedness planning slide as well as the management and administration. Want to recognize Cynthia Mendez, who is our planner for this function. She works to a great degree with a lot of entities in terms of identifying information that's necessary for the several plans that are identified here on the left-hand side. And so wanted to make note that the Rio Grande Council of Governments did receive a perfect score for all of these plans, and that was scored by the Department of Public Safety, Texas Office of Homeland Security. And so wanted to recognize our efforts in that regard. And then also on the right-hand side, this is all of the funding that has been made available to our jurisdictions. And this funding will be used for either planning efforts or for equipment purchases. And so that's a total of $877,511. On the next slide, you can see here, this is law enforcement training. And this is the training academy that, again, is provided by the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. And so you can see here that there were a total of 2 courses that were offered and conducted for your basic corrections officer as well as peace officer. And then in terms of those individuals that are enrolled in both the corrections and basic officer, you have 62 individuals for the corrections, 48 for peace officer, and then under the advanced level training for TCOL, that's 84. But I think what's most impressive about this is that there was a total of 20,109 contact hours that were offered to individuals in our 6-county region for the academy. On the next slide, here is the hazard mitigation plan. And so for those of you that remember why you need a hazard mitigation plan, in case you do have an emergency, a natural disaster or man-made, and FEMA has declared your area to be in a disaster, you need to have an official hazard mitigation plan. And so we've been so fortunate to have Rey Resendez serve as the planner for this function. He comes to us with a great wealth of information from El Paso Fire Department, as well as the Texas Division of Emergency Management, and then on to the Texas Extension Service. And so we see that this is coming down. We'll see if we can get it back up. There it is. Okay. So we're at the tail end of this. We've already submitted the plans. We're waiting for FEMA's approval for the plan, and so that is in the very near future. On the next slide, so here's solid waste. This is the one where it's a lot of work for a little bit of money, but you all would not want without this funding source. Solid waste is a funding stream that we received from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and it was a total of $71,000 that was allocated for this fiscal year. But as you can see, these are some of the communities that use this funding, and so I see it also as an opportunity for these entities to work with the community to promote public engagement, volunteerism. And on the next slide, you can see some of the other communities who also received funding. And if you see here with El Paso, the reason why this amount is such for scrap tires, El Paso has been a great player to this effort, where they have allowed for all of the applications to be funded first, and any funds that are remaining that have not been expended go to the city of El Paso. And so they've really recognized the value in this funding and the flexibility that it gives, and they want to make that offer to the rural communities first. Next slide. And so here's just a few pictures of some of the items that were picked up. You see our future solid waste workers, or in one capacity or another. That's from the town of Van Horn. And so on our next slide, we'll talk about criminal justice. So this is a really big one. Criminal justice, the total allocation that was made from criminal justice, I think, was about just a little bit over $3 million. And so this here is for the General Victims Assistance Program, and these are some of the entities that were funded. And if you look at the next slide, it continues on. So a total of $2.8 million was afforded to these communities for this funding source. And again, the purpose of the Criminal Justice Advisory Committee is that they have to review the applications, they have to hear the presentations, they have to score the applications, and then they start to negotiate the funding. And so it's a large effort on everyone's part, staff as well as the committee. In fact, this past year, the committee recognized such great efforts that were made by the staff that they commended them in a letter in terms of the efforts that were made by both Marisa and Amber Ray, who's with us today. So in this funding source, we've got 2.8 million. On the next one, this is for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, and this is the funding that was made available for these communities. And so that was a total of $595,916. On the next slide, you can see Violence Against Women, Criminal Justice, Truancy, and the State Criminal Justice Planning Fund. And those are the total amounts that were awarded. So again, it's a big effort. Really applaud all the work that was done by this committee as well as staff. On the next slide, this here is the El Paso County Dispute Resolution Center. And so we manage this program on behalf of El Paso County. And it has been a very slow, steady climb to the top in terms of success, but I know that we're getting there. Marisa and her staff, Jessica Apodaca, who's not with us today, have done just tremendous work in this arena. And so 276 cases were referred to the Dispute Resolution Center. Of those cases, 167 were mediated. 7 were conciliated, meaning that they were agreed to upon before the mediation occurred. And then in terms of where we're getting these referrals, 109 are from civil court, 84 from family court, and 30 are from juvenile, where we have an agreement with the Juvenile Probation Department from El Paso County. And then finally, 53 from neighborhood, because again, there are times where individuals really can't find a venue to mediate a concern. And so our Neighborhood Justice Center allows for that as well. Okay, so moving on to the Area Agency on Aging. This one here is our largest funding source in terms of our programs. It is directed by Yvette Lugo, and we also have our assistant director, Lorena Estrada. So for this fiscal year, we are slated to expend up to 3,107,783. And these dots represent the various types of services that we pay for on behalf of older adults 60 and older. So these amounts represent our entire six-county region. And as you can see, the largest amount that we pay for are congregate meals. And so that was a really big challenge for us at the beginning of the pandemic because we had to switch to home delivered. But we're really excited to see that the nutrition centers are opening up again. And if any of you have any concerns in terms of how that's happening or there needs to be some additional um, safeguards put in place, please let us know because we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable going to have their meal. On the next slide, you can see that we were finally back in business in terms of getting on the road. And so we were fortunate enough to also have participated in two health clinics by the Big Bend Regional Hospital District. One was in Alpine and one was in Presidio. And this is really great because we get to talk with um, we get to meet with the public, talk about benefits counseling, which is a really big deal. People are often very intimidated to change their plans because they're not sure what the implications are. We are unbiased individuals who can maneuver through that process. And so it's been really helpful for that as well. On the next slide, here is the Aging in Texas conference. Can you see somebody wear the same dress? I knew that, but I said I got to do it. I'm not going to change. So I rather just put it out there before you say it. So Aging in Texas conference. This is a statewide conference that is offered to those who work in the older adult services. And so we were fortunate enough to be able to be the host agency for this effort. We had a total of 250 registered participants. And I think that just quickly, the reason why it came here was because of the 2019 shootings. We wanted to show the rest of Texas how great our community is and how welcome we are. And so it took 2 years for us to be able to do that. But when they came, we came ready. And so people have been saying great things about the event. They thought that it was very well hosted and that they got a better understanding of El Paso. On this next slide here, this is an event that we were able to have where we held an event called Sunset at San Jacinto. So I think they told us, Yvette, this was the first time ever we actually closed the park down. We fenced it off, but we had a great time with those who came to the event. We had the Ryan G band, we had Hallelujah Barbecue from the Rescue Mission, and then we had Three Missions Brewery from Socorro. And so again, people are just really excited about seeing El Paso. They had a lot of great things to say about the downtown and the amenities they offered, and so we saw that as a great success. On the next slide, here's the Aging to Perfection Expo. We have had to hold off on this expo as well because of the pandemic. So I think everybody was chomping at the bit for this to happen. We had a total of 86 information booths. We were able to offer COVID vaccinations as well as booster shots. Those were offered by San Vicente Health Center. We also had the flu shots provided by the El Paso Fire Department. We had on-site mammograms that are offered by Desert Imaging so graciously. We also offered some educational sessions that I think are really important at anyone's life that included long-term Medicaid um, as well as advanced directives, and that was conducted by the El Paso County Attorney's Office, where they talked about medical power of attorney and as well as living wills. And then the long-term care was provided by Texas Legal Services Center. And so in total, we had approximately 1,423 persons in attendance. And so we really thought that this was just a great way to end our fiscal year. It was a lot of work because there were multiple programs going on, but we did, I think, as good a job as we could prepare for. As I wrap up the highlights for FY22, I do want to quickly recognize Cynthia Mendez. And Cynthia, where are you? Cynthia's hiding. Okay. Oh, Cynthia, there you go. Can you just stand up really quick? Thank you. So Cynthia has been doing our solid waste program. So nothing like perfect timing. I made sure I got Cynthia as soon as she put something in her mouth. So Cynthia is going to be retiring from the Council of Governments, and she will be with us up until October. We just want to say thank you, Cynthia. You've been so passionate about solid waste as well as emergency preparedness, and so you're going to leave a big hole to fill. But we hope that you do the best that you can in your new endeavors as you really retire this time, because this is our second retirement. So thank you, Cynthia. All right. So with that being said, I would like to next ask Marisa Quintanilla to come up, and Marisa is going to present the Elected Official of the Year award.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marisa Quintanilla. I am the Regional Services Director. I have the great privilege to present this award to Judge Jesus Rodriguez, who was born and raised in El Paso, Texas, and is one of 9 children. Judge, I'm not sure if you want me to say this, but he is a 1984 graduate of Bel Air. So you might have some some rivalry there. As you all know, in El Paso, we always relate to one another as to what high school did you go to. So obviously, he is a graduate of Bel Air High School. He also attended McMurray University in Abilene, Texas. After completing law school at Texas Tech University in 1991, he returned to El Paso to practice law. While at law school, Judge Rodriguez clerked for the El Paso Legal Assistance Society, where he was inspired to help individuals who could not afford legal representation and who were frequently exploited or overlooked. He returned to the El Paso Legal Assistance Society after obtaining his law degree and gained vast experience in several areas of law to include family, probate, and bankruptcy. In 1999, Judge Rodriguez worked for the El Paso County Attorney's Office. He spent his first 4 years in civil and general counsel unit defending lawsuits against the county and its various departments, in addition to providing legal advice to county commissioners. Judge Rodriguez also served as the chief of the domestic unit, obtaining protective orders for victims of domestic violence. Judge Rodriguez was appointed as an associate judge to the family court in 2007, providing assistance to the 3 district court judges with their family law caseload. He has been recognized by the El Paso Bar Association as an outstanding judge of the year in 2015 through 2016. After 12 years as an associate judge, Judge Rodriguez was elected to County Court at Law number 5, where he has served since January of 2019. No greater honor has bestowed on Judge Rodriguez and his wife Eva than to be the proud parents of 4 sons and grandparents to 11 fantastic grandchildren. So it is just a great privilege and honor to present this award, Elected Official of the Year, to Judge Rodriguez. He has been so instrumental in advancing the Dispute Resolution Center as it relates to family cases. As you all saw the slide, year to date, just family cases, you're talking about divorces, child custody disputes, separations, 84 cases, family cases, have been referred and mediated, some of those mediated through the Dispute Resolution Center. It is just a great privilege and relationships that we have built, not only with the courts, civil courts, but also the family court. So Judge Rodriguez, if you can come up. Thank you so much for all your guidance and support. Really appreciate everything you've done. And you know, it was no easy task when it comes to trying to schedule somebody and be surprised. There's no way we could be surprised because I was like, Bart, how can we get him there not knowing that he's going to receive an award? And she's like, no, there's no way. He always wants to know what's up. And so, so Judge, the mic is yours.
I'll be very brief, and I'm sorry, but it's just that we have a docket to take care of. You know, my assistant's going like, well, you can't place any cases there. It's like, well, why not? So I'm a necio, so sorry about that. I just thank you very, very much for this honor. And it'll be very short and sweet. I try to follow what my mother told me. You know, we grew up very poor. I was raised for 10 years in the projects of El Paso. So she said, si tienes la oportunidad de ayudarle a alguien más, hazlo. So however I can help, I'll try. So thank you very much.
So Yvette Lugo, your turn.
Good morning, everyone. Yvette Lugo, Director for the Area Agency on Aging Division with the Council of Governments. My award today, I get to honor and feature, as Annette shared, we were given the task of hosting the Aging to Perfection Expo this last year. And again, it was something that we rallied for. We wanted to showcase El Paso. And so with that, self-imposed pressure, whatever you want to call it, it was so important for us for people to understand just how wonderful the city of El Paso is. And so with that in mind, you know, thoughts of what we should be doing, how we should welcome people to our fair city, assuming that probably most persons in attendance have never been to El Paso, perhaps. And so this was really key for us to be able to make sure that everyone felt the warmth and the wonderfulness of who we are as a community. In doing so and announcing to you all, our board members, that this was something that was coming to us and something that we were very proud to bring to our community. I recall one meeting afterwards, Mayor Avalos came up to me and she said, count on City of Socorro for your support and whatever you'll need, and finding that to become completely true. And so today our award is actually recognizing the City of Socorro as the Organization of the Year. And part of that, obviously, there is a task person who I said, Mayor Avalos, asked Victor Reta to serve in that capacity. And he not only provided that support, he involved his staff, resources, items of donation, entertainment, everything that I said I wanted. It was almost like my fairy god person to tell me, sure, we got that. You want that? Absolutely. He helped us to reach for the stars, to want the best, and to just serve as a sense of support for us as well. So they became a part of our family, a part of our staff, he and his staff as well, to be able to provide this and host this and just serve alongside of us. And so we felt it was very important and prudent for us to recognize the efforts of the City of Socorro, the timeless amount of time I'm sure that you spent away from your duties. But here with us today is Victor Reta to accept the award.
On behalf of the City of Socorro, it is my great honor to accept this award. As Ms. Lugo mentioned, I cannot do any of this on my own. I thank my staff and my council members and our administration. Our goal is to make sure that all of our visitors come to the county knowing how awesome we are and making sure that we break every stereotype that may be seen in mainstream media. So we were very honored to be able to co-host this event with the Rio Grande Council of Governments, as well as our partners at the Area Agency on Aging. So thank you.
Okay, so we're at our final recognition of awards. And so what I would like to do now is recognize our Volunteer of the Year, and that is going to Dave Hall. So just a little bit about Dave, and I know that people were not being able to hear me, so I'm sorry again, vertically challenged. So Dave, he is part of our water and flood planning group, but let me just tell you a little about him because that way you would understand why I think it's appropriate that he receive this award. He did receive his Bachelor of Arts in Geology and Master's in Business Management, as well as Human Relations. He is a retired Army officer. He did that in 1988, having served 21 years. And so also served as a retired Army civil service, where he worked at Fort Bliss, but he retired in 2011. He also graduated from Leadership El Paso, and he has resided in El Paso since 1981. He is a father of 3 and has 5 grandchildren. And if you know Dave, you know what his hobby is, and it's an expensive hobby. So I know he manages his finances well. He restores cars, and so classic cars. So I think that he's up to 18. Is that right, Dave? In terms of the number of cars that you're working on, he has one that I think is his right now. What he's focusing his efforts on is a carbon Ghia. So I can't wait to see what that's going to look like after it's been restored. But in terms of Dave, what he's been doing for us with the water planning and the flood planning group, he has served on water planning since 1987, either as an alternate or as a primary. And then just recently, he was appointed to the Upper Rio Grande Flood Planning Group, where he's representing the public's interests. And so he makes you want to do a better job because he is always prepared. I think it's a tall task to be a volunteer. That's the first effort, but then the second one is actually making a meaningful contribution. And he makes these contributions over and over again. We depend on him. We look to him for any items that maybe might have been overlooked by anyone else. He's got a great eye for editing. And I think that I would love to aspire to be like Dave. He has said that he thinks he's not as sharp as he used to be because he's going to be 80. And I think, well, if you think like that, then what luck do I have if I'm not even at that age yet? Because he is sharp as a whip. I mean, this gentleman, the way that he reads these plans, the way he conducts business, you know that he's from military, and we really appreciate that because we need it every now and then, right, Omar? So Dave doesn't have to do this. He can do many other things as well as work on his cars, but he's committed to these planning groups and he's there for us mentally and physically. And so there's nothing more that we appreciate than that of Dave Hall and the efforts that he has made. So I would like to recognize Dave. I'm not going to present him with a plaque. I think he has probably enough plaques. And so this is just a small token of our appreciation for Dave. So Dave, if you can come up. Go ahead. Almost done. I tried to get pictures of his cars, but that's a bit over.
I think my favorite car is the 1937 Cord. It's C-O-R-D. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a beautiful little car. I get very sentimental, and I'm sorry. I thank you for this award, and I want to make sure that every volunteer in El Paso or in this region understands that this award is for them too. So please give them the applause that they need, and thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for President Schwarzbein to come up now where we can conduct our business.
Great. First of all, can we give a big round of applause for Annette and all the staff here at the Council of Governments? Okay, so I'll start off with item number 7, determination of a quorum. Do we have a quorum? All right, Mazel Tov. Next up, we have the approval of minutes of the previous meeting held on September 24, 2021. Is there a motion?
Judge Guevara, motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Mayor Webb.
All right, any comments or questions at this time? Representative Rivera? Okay, hearing none, call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have the adoption of the FY 2023 work program and annual budget. Is there a motion to approve?
We do have the budget and the work program available to you. Rebecca, would you mind forwarding the next slide? And so here's our budget for this fiscal year. Revenues are at $10,128,013. We have our expenditures at $10,127,918. We do have our excess revenues over expenditures at $95. And we will, as we do our budgeting process throughout the year, we do 2 amendments to this budget. And so this will look very different as we go into the fiscal year over the next few months. Also, I just wanted to mention that within this budget, we did include a 3.5% cost of adjustment for all of our employees.
Okay. So this budget was approved by the board and recommended to our general membership for approval. So then at this point, I will ask if there is a motion to approve. Okay,
Anello and Judge Evans.
because we have a motion and a second. So now is there any questions or comments relating to this item? Okay, hearing none, I will call the question. All in favor, say so by saying aye. Any opposed? I don't know if we count the sound as an aye or not.
I think that was an aye.
Okay. All right, so motion carries. So next up, we have our election of new officers as well. This was something that was came across with our nominations committee with myself and Representative Vanello serving as chair.
Thank you, Representative Schwartzman. Hello, everybody. It is my honor to present the slate for nominations for both officers and directors. We can start first with officers is President Mayor Summer Webb from the town of Valentine. The first vice president, Representative Henry Rivera, the city of El Paso. And the second vice president is County Judge Carlos Urayas from Culberson County. Congratulations, y'all. Is there a motion to approve? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations, y'all. We look forward to working with you in the next year. And so then I will entertain a motion to approve the officers as presented. First, the representative for member cities other than the city of El Paso within El Paso County is Councilman David Cantu from the city of San Elizario. 2 representative from mayor cities within the 5 rural counties is Mayor Summer Webb, town of Valentine. And 3 representative from all special district members, Dr. Christina Mena from the El Paso Public Service Board.
Is there a motion to approve? Representative Rivera. Is there a second? All right. You have the second?
Yes, Judge Evans.
All right. All in favor?
I didn't mean to.
All in favor? God, that was not a very enthusiastic aye. Can we just do that one more time? Dessert's coming in. Is that what happened? Everybody's got some cake in their mouth. All right. All in favor? All right. It's the end of the meeting at this point. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Thank you again, Representative Vanello. All right. So then up next, we have at this point, item number 12, proposed bylaw changes for the Rio Grande Council of Governments. Would you like to provide a little more information?
Yes, sir. So the proposed changes for the bylaws are is just one item, and that's the inclusion of the city of Socorro to be a board member. At this moment, we have 3 representatives from El Paso County, 3 from the city of El Paso, and 1 representative from the small communities within El Paso County. And so knowing that city of Socorro is growing vastly with their population, we would like to see some additional representation from them at the board of directors. And so that's the purpose of this proposed bylaws change.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Padilla,
Okay. Is there a second?
Commissioner Leon.
Commissioner Leon. All right. Well, any other comments or suggestions at this time? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. And now we have a couple remarks by yours truly before handing off the gavel to our new uh, president-elect, Mayor Webb. It's almost a year ago, almost exactly, that we were standing here as well. Very excited to have the opportunity to be in this position, especially coming out of the pandemic. The work that we do here, I think, is extremely important. We know that our strength comes from the fact that we are a community that is very isolated, and we really have to lean on each other for our growth and our opportunities. And we have seen the hard work this past year when our communities lean on each other and work together towards a common goal. If I had to say one thing, one item that I was most proud of and had the biggest impact of this past year of being president, it was the tour that we had in conjunction with UTEP and the Rio Grande Council of Governments for the West Texas Aerospace and Defense Manufacturing Initiative. For those that weren't there on this tour, we were able to see cutting edge technologies not be applied in the future, but being here in our community today. Not just in El Paso, but in Fabens and in other parts of our Council of Governments community, including Van Horn and Alpine. And this one initiative will transform our communities throughout West Texas, bringing good paying jobs to our community, giving our children and grandchildren a place to stay and the jobs to support them and their families. And we're already seeing this here. It's not that I have some special connection with God himself. I'm some sort of prophet here in El Paso. Far from it. We have Representative Rivera for that role. But we know it because we're already seeing it in action, right? Blue Origin in Van Horn already employs over 100 engineer graduates from UTEP, right? That's a tremendous amount of economic development going on here today, right now. And I know that this is going to be something that is very significant for our future as well, because we have a tremendous amount of backing, not just through the different county judge and county commissioners and city representatives and other supporters in the community, and not just because we have the support of our great Congresswoman Veronica Escobar in her office, but we have the support of the federal government of the United States. We were one of only 21 communities across the United States to receive a Build Back Better grant for this initiative here. That is an amazing opportunity for our communities. And that is because of the hard work from each and every one of us, from the federal government, from our congresswomen, from our partners at UTEP, and from the Rio Grande Council of Governments. And so when I think about this last year of the challenges that we had, I also think of the opportunities. And I think about the fact that we're on the cusp of some really great things. Again, not by trying to copy what Austin is, not by trying to copy what's going on in Houston or Phoenix or some other city, but by owning who we are here, by being authentic to ourselves here in the Chihuahuan Desert of far West Texas and southern New Mexico. We are owning who we are without apologies. We're embracing the natural corridor that we are for manufacturing, for culture, and a destination for cross mobility crossing as well. And it's a really great and exciting time to be in this community. And so being able to serve again for this last year as the president of the Council of Governments has been an extreme honor and a blessing. I think a little bit about my father, an immigrant to this country, and how proud he would be to see us in this position and me in this position. But more importantly, I think about all the hard work we're doing and the hard work that we're doing that's going to lead towards a better future for our community as well. And that is why we're all doing what we're doing, right? There's one thing that we have in this world that we need to do is leave this world a little better place. And we can do that through our faith-based communities. We can do that by helping an old lady cross the street. We can do that by giving charity. We can do that through public service or just by being good people. And it's an honor to be able to work alongside all of you during this last year. And I look forward to continuing to work alongside with you as well in a variety of different positions in the future of this community as well. And so with that, thank you again for allowing me to serve, and God bless.
Say a few words about Representative Schwarzbein. I think that he has provided a tremendous amount of clarity for the council governments, just in terms of initiatives that maybe we have been shy from acting on, just to be a bit more brave about tackling some of these initiatives that are going on throughout our state and our nation. I really do appreciate his candor and the thought that he has behind those ideas. And also just the fact that I really was, I was very appreciative of him and wanting to have that tour with the Jed Foundation and the Chinati Foundation. And, art, some might say art is art, here's some pictures, let's move on. But it really did, I think, set a really good balance for all of us while we're in Marfa, just to think about and reflect on what it is that we're doing and how it is that we're doing that, and how much more effective we can be. And again, just like how he said, just how much more can we be kinder to each other and work towards a united effort. And so with that, I would like to present this plaque to Representative Schwarzbein for serving as our president for fiscal year 22. You did. We're gonna take a picture real quick and then we will.
So I can't take the gavel?
Yeah, and we will be giving him his own gavel because he really enjoyed that part of the meeting. So.
It's a lot of fun. All right. So now we have one more, two more items of business. One is the presentation of the gavel to our new president, Mayor Summer Webb, and then Mayor Webb will make a motion to adjourn. So is Mayor Webb here? All right, awesome. She was over there.
Thank you all. I'm not nearly as eloquent of a speaker as Representative Schwarzbein, nor do I have nearly as much important stuff to say. So with that, I just want to thank the Rio Grande Council of Governments, Annette and your team, obviously to all of our communities, especially to our rural communities. Your help is, there's no words. So thank you very much. So with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn? Judge Guevara, and who seconded? Okay, adjourn.
For Mayor Corrales, Judge Urias, and Dr. Hernandez, if you can go to the back and meet with this lovely lady here, Susie Bird from UTEP Aerospace Center. Do you show yourself, Susie? Yeah, if you all can make your way back there, we're going to have a quick meeting with you. Thanks so much. Yes, we're going to take a picture. I'm sorry, we also need Representative Vera. We need you for a photo, and Mayor Webb. And we'll make our way to Judge Urias as well. So let's go meet in the back for pictures.